Hello everyone, this is Danny from creatingawebstore.com, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to back up a site and move that site from your current hosting account to a new hosting account via cPanel. Note that this tutorial will work with practically any site. It doesn't have to be a Magento store, since that is what I'm moving. It can even be a blog such as a WordPress blog or a Drupal blog. It can even be a PrestaShop store, as long as the steps are followed correctly and as long as you change the configuration files if needed. Everything will work as expected. To start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief introduction of why I'm going to do things a certain way. For example, I will not be using the backup wizard because the backup wizard is actually used to back up a site and restore that site on your current hosting account. When you're moving to a new hosting account, your home directory path changes, and there are a lot of configuration files for the server that change as well. So if you back up your entire home directory and then restore that home directory on a new hosting account, there's a chance that you'll actually ruin the configuration of that hosting account, and then you'll have to contact support and have them restore your hosting account to default condition. So to start, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into the file manager. Besides backing up files, I'm also going to show you how to back up a database. Most modern applications these days use databases. If your application does not use a database, you do not need to worry about backing up your database. As for emails, we're actually going to create email accounts manually, so you can easily just look in your email accounts here and just create those email accounts on the new hosting account. So to start, simply go into your file manager and go into home directory. I actually ticked off show hidden files here. This is up to you. In reality, when you back up a directory, it backs up everything inside that directory. So this is not needed, but if you're going to back up on a file by file basis, then you will need to show hidden files. Either way, it doesn't hurt to have this option checked off. Now, simply locate the directory and files that you want to move over to the new hosting account. In most cases, this is just the public underscore HTML directory, which is the directory that holds the files of your site. Now, if you also have subdomains, you're basically going to want to repeat the steps that I'm doing for the public underscore HTML directory for those subdomain directories as well. So simply highlight this directory and click on compress, and now choose a compression type. I'm going to choose zip archive. Note that some browsers actually unarchive files upon download. For example, Safari does that, and when I go into preferences, I actually unchecked open save files after downloading. If your browser does that, and if you do not have Safari, you will want to look into how to disable the feature on your browser. Of course, you can always choose a different compression type. Regardless of which you choose, cPanel will be able to extract the file once we upload it to the new hosting account, so you do not have to choose zip archive. So simply select your archive type and then click on compress files, and we'll wait for this directory to be compressed. Okay, so now my directory has been compressed, and I now have that file right here for download. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this file by highlighting it and then clicking on the download link. And now while that downloads, we can proceed to backing up our MySQL database. For the database, I will actually use the backup wizard. So simply go to the backup wizard, click on the backup link here, click on MySQL databases, and then just simply click on the database that you wish to back up. And by clicking it, you will actually start a download process. And as you can see, my database has been downloaded. Note that if you have a very large database, this may take a while. So once your file has finished downloading, we can begin the restoration process on the new hosting account. Okay, so here I am on my new hosting account. As you can see, my home directory has changed. To begin, what we're going to do is we're going to restore the MySQL database. Note that the restoration process will work with all types of applications, unless you have a very sophisticated application which really requires a lot of skill. But with most CMSs these days, such as the one that I'm restoring, Magento, and with blogs such as WordPress, the restoration process is actually very easy, so it doesn't take much skill. The only thing that might happen is you might have to change the configuration for your database and for your home directory. For example, if your application needs you to specify where the public underscore HTML directory is located, then you will need to find that configuration file and change that path. The best way to figure out whether you need to do that is by simply doing a search online for example, if you're looking for WordPress, you would just type in WordPress configuration files, and you will basically find the information that you need. For Magento and WordPress, all that's really needed is that you specify the database credentials, and if you can somehow manage to keep the database credentials the same as you had them on your old hosting account, then you do not need to change anything at all. So to start, simply go to Backup Wizard, and now click on Restore, and click on MySQL Databases, and then click on Choose File, and then select your database file here. It should be ending in .sql.gz. If it doesn't have the .gz, it should have at least the .sql extension. And then upload. Note that this should work with just about any site, as long as, it should work at least with the average size site. If you have a very large database, it has to be really large. This might not be possible, and then you would have to go through shell to restore the database, which I don't actually cover that in this tutorial, because I assume that most people watching this video have a basic site that they're restoring. So now simply go back, and actually we're going to go home, and we're going to go into MySQL databases, and now we can confirm that our database is here. As you can see, the name of my database changed due to my home directory changing, and also my username will actually be different this time. Again, if you can somehow have the new hosting account with the same name for the path here as you had on the old hosting account. Some hosts, for example, let you choose your username. It would be wise to do that. This way you wouldn't have to make any changes to the configuration files. In my case, I'll make the changes. It's no big deal. I'm just going to use a basic password. I suggest using a slightly more difficult password to guess than this. Create user, and now simply add that user to that database. Simply select the user and click add. Select the privileges that you wish to give that user. I'm just going to go with all privileges and click on make changes. And now we are ready to restore our files. Simply go to File Manager, and I'm going to go to the home directory, and I'm going to choose show hidden files, because for files such as the .htaccess file, it will be hidden and you will not be able to move it if you do not check off this box. That is, if you do have .htaccess file. Now go to the public underscore HTML directory, and then in here you're going to want to actually upload that zipped file that we downloaded earlier of your old public underscore HTML directory. And I'm going to explain why I'm doing things this way. I'm doing things this way because if I were to go into the home directory here, and if I were to upload that file directly, I would actually overwrite the public underscore HTML directory. By doing that, I might overwrite important directories or files that are in that directory that belong to the server. Instead, all I really want to do is just upload the files from my application. So this is why I'm going to upload to the public underscore HTML directory. Now, if you have other directories for your, if you have subdomains and if you have directories for it, you're going to actually want to upload that zipped file of those directories directly to your home directory, because those directories would actually be in your home directory, similar to how the public underscore HTML directory is in your home directory. Now just go to the public underscore HTML home directory and click on upload. Choose your file and then upload, and once it is finished we can continue. Okay, so now that our file has finished uploading, we can go back here, and now we simply select the compressed file and extract. And now we can delete the compressed file. If you'd like to hold on to it in case something goes wrong, you can. Now go into the new public underscore HTML directory and copy all the directories and files over to the main public underscore HTML directory. Simply select all of the files and directories, and then click on move. I'm actually going to move. You can do a copy. A copy might be good in case something goes wrong again. In my case, I'll just move. So as you can see, this is the path where we would like to move all these files. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to move them in the public underscore HTML directory. So you're going to want to remove this part, because right now since there are two public underscore HTML directory, this one is inside of this one, so we actually want to move the files and directories from within this one to the main one. So your path should look like this, and then click on move files. And now the files have been moved, and we can go up one level, and as you can see, our all of our files are back in here now, and now we can delete that empty public underscore HTML directory. Just make sure that you don't delete your primary public underscore HTML directory by accident. And now, depending on your application and depending on your MySQL database credentials, you might have to change your configuration file, and you might not have to. The best way to figure out is by going to your site right now and checking to see whether it loads. If it loads, you do not have to do anything else. You might, however, want to make sure that your folder permissions are correct, but other than that, you shouldn't have to do anything else. In my case, my database credentials did change, so I will actually have to go into the app directory here, and then into my etc directory here, and then edit this local.xml file, which is where my database credentials are, and that file looks like this. And then I would just basically get my database credentials from here, and this would be my database name, which would go right here where it says DB name. Again, depending on your application, this page would look somewhat different, but it would basically be the same principle as it is here. And then I just get my username from over here. And then my password, and I simply click on save. And now I can test my new store. And as you can see, everything worked out fine. Hopefully things worked out well for you as well. And if something went wrong, you can always look into the configuration file, or just make sure that you followed all the other steps properly. And if you need to add the path for your public HTML directory in a configuration file, that would be right here. You would look at the home directory, and you would likely have to change the old home directory to the new directory. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, and also be sure to check out creatingawebstore.com.